Hello, good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to have a discussion with me today. My name is Sean Bussey, and today I'd like to talk to you about the importance of aerial firefighting equipment, specifically utilizing the 747 supertanker in lieu of its less equipped comparable aircraft. And when I say 747, I literally mean a converted passenger aircraft. So a Boeing 747 aircraft used to fight fires. Seems like a crazy idea, right? Well, wildfires are burning right now across North America. About 6,200 square miles have burned so far this year. So that's a lot of human and equipment resources that are being utilized to lessen that impact on our environment and our communities. So has anybody out there ever seen a wildfire or been in a community that was near one? Have you seen the operations and the resources utilized to fight that fire? Have you seen the helicopters with the water buckets hanging from them? Or maybe you've seen the prop planes dredging water out of a nearby lake? What if I told you these efforts and equipment are antiquated and plainly insufficient? You're likely thinking, why do we see them so often? Well, there's a much better aerial firefighting option available, which could essentially ground the competing aircraft that we just spoke of. So let's take a look at our options, what we're currently using. So aerial firefighting is essential in the management and elimination of wildfires, specifically in the service of dumping water or fire retardant on those fires. This is especially important in the forested areas, the very heavily forested areas that are otherwise difficult for any personnel or other equipment to get to. So we can all agree that speed in which the fire is contained or extinguished for that matter is very significant to loss of environment, property, and ultimately potentially human life. Unfortunately, the U.S. Forest Service only has 3 aircraft within its fleet that have a capacity of 11,600 gallons, roughly. In comparison, the 747 supertanker I spoke about earlier can carry and drop approximately 20,000 gallons of water or fire retardant. So there's definitely an opportunity for improvement in aerial efficiency of wildfire fighting. So why are we not utilizing and supporting the 747 supertankers? Contractual restrictions, unfortunately, have been the predominant cause of grounding the supertankers during, what is their most valuable window of usage. The U.S. Forest Service current contract restricts firefighting aircraft to 5,000 gallon capacity of fire retardant or water with really no clear data explaining why. This is, I guess if anybody has ever seen, a sensible government contract, I'll show you a liar. I mean, this is just not something we would typically see. There's no real data to support the 5,000 gallon mark. There is no weight restrictions or safety data that would restrict a plane to using that. And honestly, that restriction or that contract that's out there of 5,000 gallons, that restricts the U.S. Forest Service largest capacity aircraft that they currently own at 11,600 gallons. So it seems futile to even explain the benefits and difference of 5,000 gallons versus 20,000. But when time and containment is critical, it would stand to reason that more retardant or more water in a shorter time frame would be preferred. It's using logical thinking. The most widely used aerial equipment, such as helicopters and converted prop planes, can only contain about 1,000 to 2,200 gallons of water or retardant. Additionally, they can only travel at speeds of, an average of about 200 miles per hour, whereas the 747 can travel at speeds up to 565 miles an hour. So it's very difficult, again, to even continue the conversation as we clearly see the benefit of the supertanker. But let's look a little bit further into the benefits of that 747 supertanker and truly grasp why it's relevant and feasible in firefighting in the aerial world. The supertanker is currently based out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and it can arrive at any point within North America within about 4.5 hours. So if you were to call and dispatch this plane to New York City right now, there's a stamp, a guarantee this company gives that they can be there within 4.5 hours. So once an operation is complete, so this 747 goes and dumps its load over a fire. It takes approximately 30 to 35 minutes to replenish the tanks with fire retardant or water, depending on what they're using. Although some aerial equipment can replenish their stock faster, right? The prop planes we talked about just dredging the surface of the lake, but they are completely reliant on a natural water source being nearby. If you're not near any natural waterways, lakes, streams, ponds, rivers, there is nowhere to fuel up or replenish your load, so to speak. This 747 can land at any major airport or any airport that can support a 747 and reload out of fire hydrants. It can reload out of bunkers of fire retardant they have staged across the country. There are no flight or operational restrictions with this 747. So it can fly within unrestricted airspace to and from its target. The only other currently used aircraft which can match those capabilities is the military C-130 aircraft, which some have been converted to fight fire, but its water or retardant capacity is only 3,000 gallons compared to the 20,000 of the 747. So it's very clear to see the importance and the benefits of making this aircraft approved and available in the primary resource for aerial firefighting. So I hope everyone has learned a little something they didn't know about the resources available to fight wildfires. And to summarize, there's definitely a clear front runner when it comes to aerial firefighting equipment. The 747 supertanker is the clear solution to the nation's wildfire crisis, and its benefits far outweigh its competitors. So we know there is one constant. There's always going to be wildfires, and it's simply the reality of nature. The real question is, what can we do to control the wildfires? Innovation in technology and available resources has made the 747 supertanker available to the U.S. Forest Service and our firefighters across the nation. I encourage you to look up to the sky near the next wildfire you encounter, and if you don't see the 747 supertanker, ask the question, why? I thank you again for your time today. Go on and be safe, and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you.